All right, now we're gonna start setting up for the Prismaflex. Okay. So basically, this is not intended for physiology or for theory. This is intended for practical setting it up, especially in the context of Brockton Hospital. And we're gonna only talk about the stuff that we have here. And of course, that's universal, you know. So it would be helpful for any hospital, but in general, we're going to be more concerned about the stuff that we do at Brockton Hospital, which I think we have a very foolproof system that decreases mistakes in general, especially for a starting program. So until the machine boots up, this is the Prismaflex history that CVVH, as you know, started at CVVH and then became CVVH-D, added dialysis to it instead of hemodialysis, and then became diffusion, and then added F, which is filtration too. So now the systems of CVVH, whoever learned CVVH a long time ago, like myself, used to be that the CVVH machine doesn't really get rid of the BUN and creatinine and the toxins like dialysis machine. It was just a fluid removal machine for the most part. And for, let's say, drug toxicity, it wasn't also good. And for the most part, still okay. That's still true. But with these new machines, CVVH-DF, it's as good and as efficient as dialysis machine. This machine can remove up to 2,000 cc's per hour. That's like a dialysis machine now. So anyway, and it can get rid of the potassium and everything. We're not having any problems with it as far as removal of toxins. So we're gonna start, continue. We're gonna enter the name of the patient and some information. We have the information here. I'm gonna put the name of the patient. I can give you my back. So. Enter, and then we're going to enter the patient weight in kilogram. What's the weight of the patient, roughly?
Dry weight?
Yeah.
74.8.
No, the current weight.
The current weight today, 82.2.
Thank you. All right, and then the hematocrit is 28. That's the real three things that you need to enter. Then it'll tell you confirm that. Yes, okay, we confirm. Now it's gonna ask you to CRRT, continuous renal replacement therapy, or continuous renal replacement therapy MARS, which is used for using this pod here, additional pod for liver dialysis, for a patient with liver failure and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have TPE, which is plasmapheresis and stuff like that, which we don't do here. So the only thing we do is CRRT. And you see the letters, just choose the one with the highest letters. Big, longest name, CVVH-DF. When people chose other things, they got confused. So CVVH-DF. We're gonna use systemic heparin, right? They're asking you, now the question is that, okay, confirm that when you're gonna use the systemic heparin, it says here that if you can see here, that you can see there is a syringe here, which is going to go right here. It's going to tell you, see, the syringe, you're ready with that? Yeah, we're ready with that. We actually don't have heparin with us right now. We're going to get it from pharmacy, but what we're going to do, we're just going to put saline until the heparin is ready, and then we can change it with heparin. This patient doesn't have contraindication to use heparin, so we're going to use it. Now we're going to confirm that. And then it's still, again, it's going to tell you, okay, the therapy that you chose is CRRT, the therapy mode is CVVH-DF, and anticoagulation mode is systemic. You're okay with that? Yes, we're okay. You can change any of those from this side here. Continue. Now, before I start, I'm going to tell you quickly about the two types of filters that we have and the two types of solutions that we have. So there's multiple filters and there's multiple solutions, and each one of them does a function and it's better than the other, and we'll leave that for people who are really experts in this and tweaking things. Here, we just want to remove fluid and remove the toxins. And so we made it simple. We chose 2 fluids and 2 filters. The filters that we have is, one of them is M150 and the other one is Oxyrus filter. The M150 is a typical filter. Most people use it, or M100, one of these two. I think we're gonna phase out M150 because now we have the Oxyrus filter. The Oxyrus filter is a filter that was approved recently for COVID-19 blood purification for COVID-19. It's an expedited approval. Of course, it's not permanent approval, but for now, it is approved for that. We knew all along that CVVH filters do remove cytokines, because you can see in aseptic patients the filters clot easier and faster, and we change it more frequently. The filter should stay for 72 hours, although, and that's the packet insert, not more than 72 hours, but in septic patients it clot much easier, much faster. This one, Oxyrus filter, it can be used for COVID patients, can be used for non-COVID patients. We've used it very successfully in a patient that had anaplasma, which is also a vasculitis like COVID-19, and did great actually with it. So that's the filter that we're going to use. Most of the time it's going to be Oxyrus. You don't have to tell the machine, because the machine is going to tell from here that it's the Oxyrus filter that's being used. It reads the barcode. The other thing is that we have the solutions. The solutions, we have 2 solutions. One is called Foxylum, and the other one is called Prismasol. So Foxylum, this is how it comes in the bags, right? The bags come like this this is Foxylum, and it comes with an upper component and a lower component. The upper component is a bicarb. You only press on this component hard until you open it into the bigger chamber, and they mix together just before you use it, so to maintain stability. The bags are come in 5-liter bag, and the Prismasol is actually that's the 2K solution. So we chose 2 of the solutions only. One is called the Prismasol 2K, and the Foxylum is 4K. The Foxylum is more balanced, even from the name. It has phosphate in it, and it has 4K, so it's balanced. It's for somebody who is really not fighting for his life with hyperkalemia. The Prismasol, if somebody's really hyperkalemic and acidotic, that's the Prismasol. Usually it's used for that. So what we have done is that we limited the solutions to those. The one that we use the most really is Foxylum, because of how balanced it is and stuff like that. The only difference between the Oxyrus filter and the M150 filter is that you have to add heparin to fill the filter with, or prime the filter with, before we continue to use it. All right, so everything is on the screen. You press the, if you deviate from there and you start to do things by yourself, you're gonna get confused. Everything is here. So press the first button, and it tells you snap the cartridge into. That's the cartridge. It actually tells you what the cartridge look like. So what we're gonna do, this is the cartridge. I'm gonna open it. It takes a long time because it's difficult. Thank you, Sherry. All right, so right there, it's almost like a Chinese toy. You can never open them. Comes with a bag. This bag is we're going to put it here. This bag is for the effluent bag, for the pee bag, if you will.
So based on this packaging, this won't be emergent.
No, this is never an emergent procedure. Based on this packaging, it will never be emergent. And this is the packaging, how it comes like that. And we will snap it in. So snap the cartridge in. There's all this Medusa here. So the way to snap the cartridge in, this part here has to be advanced together or approximated together like this. So I close it and then put this. My hand is so big. It's supposed to be pulled out a little bit, that's why it's difficult. So I can come from behind and put it like this. Okay. Now we don't push it in, just leave it like this, and we're gonna take care of all of the rest of the stuff. Next is gonna say attach all the pressure pods, and it actually tells you there's 2 reds in the bottom and 1 yellow on the top. So let's start from the bottom. I like to take this off, although some people say don't, but I like to take this off just to. All right, so there's 1 pod here. This is the pod, and this is the place. You can see it right here. And the way you do it, you go like this, tangentially, and then turn it. And then this one is the same. You go like sideways like this, and turn it. And the yellow one, you're gonna find it right here. And it's gonna go the same way and turn. Okay, next. So that's all what you're supposed to do here, right? Next. Snap the discharger ring into its guide and press the effluent line into the blood leak detector. So this is a discharger ring. It's gonna go like this, right? And then this one here, it's gonna go here, right? Like the picture exactly. And we always say like a smiley face. Looks like a smiley face here. Not like this. Doesn't go like this. Doesn't go like this. It goes like this from below. So it doesn't go like this, it goes like this. And it flows like this. Makes sense to go like this actually. And this has to be really pushed in deep and kind of easy to go. This one here doesn't go anywhere. This is just you can draw blood from here. This is when we do our study, we're gonna do it from here. We're gonna pull from here and pull from here. You can pull blood before and after the filter. Next, temporarily hang the access and effluent Y line on a priming solution. So we have to look for that Y line that has yellow and red in it. If you go by the colors, you're never going to have a mistake. Here, that looks like a Y line to me, and it looks like it has yellow and red in it. So right there, it's very easy. This is, you hang it here on the side, right? Just hang it. They're asking you to hang it so this way, you can see. Okay, now place the aeration chamber in its holder and attach the chamber monitor to return in a return port. So the aeration chamber, this one here is a revolutionary. Without this, with the old CVVH machine, if anybody remembers, the nurses used to, like, every time there's a air bubble, they have to like tap they take it apart and tap it and get rid of the air bubble. This one here is a aeration chamber. So it actually allows the air to accumulate above. If there's any air bubble, it accumulates above. And that's the monitor here that goes in. So we're gonna put it in, and we always say you have to go with the wide side down first, bottom first. You go bottom first, and then press it. And then this is, per the picture, it's gonna go here and go deep. If you're gonna get splashed with blood, it's gonna be from somewhere here, around this blue lines. That's where the blood can splash you, or any place, but of course that's where the blood can splash you, right? So we did that. Insert the return line, which is blue, in the air detector and the return line clamp. So we're gonna put here, that's the air detector, and then the return line clamp that will be clamped if there is air. If there's air detected here, this one will clamp, and the machine is not gonna work. Right, so we put that. Now next one, open the effluent scale and hang the collection effluent bag. So we open the effluent scale, that's the yellow scale, and you don't have to know because it's actually color coded yellow. You just remove that, right? And then we put the bag on it. This is the effluent bag, that's the P bag that we say. This is and it's gonna go like this, so you want this you know, line to be anterior, not posterior, for ease. So you just put it here. This bag is supposed to be used once, although sometimes we use it more. Okay, so we'll put this like that, and then make sure that it goes inside. This thing was giving us a hard time today, as we'll see. Then it says here, you're done. So it says load, cancel, or help. Of course, load, right? So we're gonna load, and that's the moment of truth. These lines inside here used to be in the past. I've seen the nurses actually like feeding those into the pumps inside one by one. Now this does it by itself. It pulls everything, puts all of those lines inside the pumps. And then of course the barcode is being read, or it's gonna be read, and everything goes in place. This is the big pump, that's the blood pump that takes the blood from the patient, and each one of those has something to do with one of the scales. Machine tests everything, so if you know, have something that is closed and you forgot it, it's not the end of the day. The machine is going to say, oh, well, you have something open or closed, you're going to have to close it or open it or whatever. Now, these things here, this is just, the machine is making a contract with you, saying, you know, the maximum dialysate is 8,000 mLs per hour. We can remove 8,000, you know, mLs. Maximum dialysate here, it can go 8,000, and then the maximum ultrafiltration rate is at 10,000. And the maximum pressure drop is X, and all of these things, this is just hardwired into the machine. You don't really need to do anything. So you have three options: unload, confirm, or help. Of course, confirm. Right now, this screen here, what is important for the Oxidus filter. If you didn't read it, you're not going to know that you have to put 5,000 units in every one of the priming bags for the Oxidus filter. So typically, every filter has 2 liters. For big filters like this, it has 2 liters to prime. So we're going to add 5,000 units of heparin to each. So I have the bag here, and I have the heparin. I'm just going to add the heparin to them. And, all right, right there. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to use the other one for the heparin now. That's one. I'm going to put it here, 5,000 unit. And then the other one is here. When we are ready, when we're priming, I think we're gonna have to bring the sheet to show it, like the CVVH sheet. You know what I mean? So continue, right? And then it says here, route all lines as per guide, right? It just wants you to be tidy. So it says route all lines. So you can see, it says here, you know, this line here, the purple line is going to go in the purple, and this one is going to go in the green. This is not an essential step, you can do without, right? The white is going to go in the white, and the yellow later, I'm going to put it in the yellow here. And then it says connect the axis an /effluent Y line to priming solution and hang bag on a priming hook. So right here, that's one of the bags that we prepared. We're gonna go put it on the priming hook here. We're gonna open this and attach this to the Y connector here to the bag. Right? And then next, Never forget to press this soft button. It's very important. These soft buttons are very, very important. Connect the pre-blood pump to the PBB or pre-blood bag and hang the bag on the white scale. So now they want you to open the white scale, and they want to put one of those 5-liter bag that we have, the Foxilum, here and connect the white line to it. So there's a way to do it without breaking your bag. You take this, you put it on this side of the screen, like that, and then you take the bag, and I'm gonna break those. See? I broke the top part here, so now the bicarb is inside, like this. Okay, now also open those so it doesn't open the holes here, and open the hole. And then you can go here and just basically put them here so that you don't have to like really, bend your knees to go down or bend your back to go down. Right, now this is the white line. The good thing that we have in this bag is that it doesn't have to be spiked. So because if you spike it, then you can't use it again, and it's messy and everything. So we take the spike off, we don't need it, and we use the regular. So you have two options in the bag: a spike or regular connection, a lower lock connection. So we're gonna choose the lower lock connection, and I'm just gonna put my my thing here, the line on the lower lock connection. Now the bag is connected. I'm going to take it as it is. See, there's a handle. You hold it from the handle like this, and you come from this side, so you don't break your bag, and you just put it on the scale. And then enter. Okay, next one. I know what the next step is, but I'm not going to do it until I press, because it showed me green here. I need to connect the dialysate line to the dialysate bag and hang on the green scale. So that's the dialysate line. I'm going to pull it out. I'll take this and do the same exactly with the next bag. So one of the things that we've done here in Brockton Hospital is that when we started this, we wanted to make sure that there's, the key is safety. So what we did is that we said, okay, we will make sure that the solutions are limited, Foxilum or Prismasol only. Number two, not a lot of mistakes can happen. Number two, we're going to use the same solution on the same patient. One solution on the same patient. So basically, you're not going to see a patient here that has Prismasol and Foxilum interchanged between the pumps. If you're going to use Foxilum, you're going to use all of them Foxilum. If you're going to use Prismasol, all of them are going to be Prismasol. And that's an advantage. So it decreases mistakes. But then the other thing that we've done is that we decided that we are going to go by the same amount on all of them. Like if we order 800 for the pre-blood pump, it's going to be 800 for the Dialysate, it's going to be 800 for the third pump too. So you can't really make a mistake even if you try. There are other applications, and we've done it once where we actually had to change the post blood pump and all this solution, but that's rare, and we don't want it to make it the rule. And really, the machine, we have no complaints about the way the machine takes care of fluid and toxin, and that's all we need really for our patient. So the gain that we're gonna get from making it so complicated is not worth it. See, I made a mistake. I have to press here first. Purple. It says remove, connect the replacement line to the replacement bag and hang it on the purple scale. So I'm going to take it, put it here, and exactly the same thing on that last bag here. This. Oh, we could make the line. Remove the spike, put the line in the lower lock. these scales are very sensitive. Now it says here, next one, connect the return line to the collection bag. Oh, I'm confused. What is the return line? You don't have to be confused. It's blue. Just look for the blue. It's right here. That's the return line. We're going to connect it to the effluent bag. It doesn't make sense because the effluent bag is yellow. Why am I connecting blue to yellow? That's only for the setup. But after that, everything is going to go where it's supposed to. You have three options: cancel, continue, and help. We're going to continue, obviously. Next one is going to say open plunger and press auto down and remove syringe if already installed. So we have the syringe here for the heparin, which we decided that we're going to do saline as opposed to heparin. So for now, and of course we're going to change it to heparin later. You can choose that you don't want to do that. You can choose that we don't want to do systemic heparin, and this step doesn't even is not relevant anymore. You don't see that step. But if you said I want to put heparin, then this step has to be done. The problem is that if I say now I'm not going to put heparin and then decide to put heparin later, you have to change the setup. You have to go back and change all the setup again. So that's why.
Are we going to just leave it saline this time?
Well, we leave it saline until the heparin arrives from pharmacy.
But then we have to take all this down, you said?
No, no. Because I already chose that we're going to put heparin. If I had chosen that there's no heparin, then you can't change it in the middle. Right, so now I'm going to, it says, you have to follow the instructions. It says push down, this is the down. So it brings the syringe down. Also, next, free the syringe line. That's the syringe line, this one here. It actually looks, you can see it. That's the syringe line. Next one, place the syringe and then insert the syringe wings in the holder. So these are the wings of the syringe, so we need more down, I think. So we're going to put the syringe in the syringe holder, more down. Right there. Okay. And then the syringe line. I'm sorry. The first this step it says connected to the machine to the syringe. So I'm going to connect the syringe line here to the syringe. And then this one here, I'm going to pull this plunger out. See this? Because that will latch on the lower part of the syringe here. And this will place the syringe, and then it says here, press auto up, because now I can't. If I push this down, it's not going to even, it's lower than a syringe. So we're going to attach auto up until it touches the syringe. Good. And now I'm going to do like this. So now it's closed, and then close plunger on the latch. That's the last thing to do, and press continue. So we're done with all of this. We have to either auto down again or continue. Of course, we're going to press continue. And now it describes to you what the picture looked like. Yeah, these two here, the wings of the syringe are in this holder, and of course the latch is latched on the syringe. Is that what you're seeing? Yes, that's what I'm seeing. Make sure. Confirm. Now, the moment of truth now. Another moment of truth. Because now it's asking you whether you want to cancel, prime, or prime and test. Don't ever do prime. Do always prime and test. Because if you do prime, you have to come back and do press another button. Just do prime and test. It'll take 8 minutes. So prime and test. We'll see. If there's any issue, it will alarm like a banshee. Who's the banshee? Anyway, so we'll use this time to show this flow sheet. There's a million flow sheet available, and the flow sheets are. This is the flow sheet for us here in Brockton Hospital. It shows the simplest flow sheet. So, and we did a couple of things. So remember when we said we're gonna make it simple and make and notice the air is just going throughout the whole system, and finally it's going to be filtered up and gotten rid of. But initially we said we're going to use 2 solutions. We're going to use 2 filters only, or even 1 filter only. We're going to use only the same solution for every patient, and we're going to use equal amount for every patient. So we made it very simple. Another thing that we made it also simple for people is that we said we're going to only maximum removal of fluid is 400 cc's an hour. Like after adding everything together, you can't remove more than 400 cc's an hour. Of course you can. You can remove up to 2,000 cc's an hour if you want. But in here, we just made it a rule, so so it would be simple and we don't injure anybody. And it's more than enough to remove 400 cc's an hour. And that's what the things that made I love this machine, because it can remove more than the dialysis machine. The dialysis machine come here, and when they're brave in the morning, they remove what, 3 liters? But this one can remove 9.6 liters if you're running at 400 cc's an hour over 24 hours without dropping the blood pressure as much as in the morning. So that's another rule we made. The other rule that is unwritten, it's actually written, but we kind of change it a tiny bit, is that the lowest amount of effluent treatment that of treatment that you're giving for the patient, the lowest volume to be given for the patient as far as treatment, everything that's going through the system, is 25 mLs per kilo per hour. So that means 25 mLs per kilo per hour. So that means what? That means that the sum of the fluid going from these 3 bags into the system has to be at least 25 mLs per kilo per hour. We made it 30. We said that we have to make it 30 because there's sometimes where there is actually a disconnection, or the nurse is doing something, or changing bags or something, and you don't have all the time. So we don't want to go below 25, so make it 30. If you make it 35, if you make it 40 mLs per kilo per hour, it doesn't really matter. All that you're doing is that you're wasting the solution, but you're not going to injure the patient. This is not going into the patient. This is just flowing through the system, and the system is still going to remove the fluid, right? So if you look at the flow sheet here, RN name, date and time, blah, blah, access type, what's the access? By the way, we use the largest dialysis catheter in the market, 14 French, long, goes all the way to the right atrium, so to decrease the alarms, because one of the biggest annoying things in CVVH is alarms. Site, condition, blah, blah, blah. Now, the next thing is going to ask you what is the blood, like the blood flow, how much is the blood flow. Dialysis machines typically have 300 mLs it has 300 mLs per minute dialysis flow. So 300 mLs coming out of the patient body and circulating at any minute. And that's the function of this big pump here. For CVVH, the maximum is 250. So for dialysis machine is 300. Here the maximum is 250. I've had patients run at 150 successfully with removal of fluid and everything, right? So you can run it at 150, but you run the risk of actually clotting the system. But 250 is usually the number that we strive to have. So typically the blood is going to be 250. Now it asks you here, it says, post PBP and dialysate. And I'm going to get back to that also on the machine, but right now I can tell you, these 3 pumps, you're going to see their names here. PBP, which is pre-blood pump, dialysate pump, and the post-blood pump, or the replacement pump. This is the fluid. It takes fluid from here. It goes in the white, right? It goes in the white that we're going to see going here. See? It goes all the way here. That white line here next to the red. It actually meets the blood as it comes out from the patient. This is the patient, is going to be the patient. It meets the blood as it comes out from the patient early on, like literally a few centimeters away from the patient, the blood is already mixed with the pre-blood pump, so it doesn't clot all the way to go in. And then of course it dilutes it a little bit, so at least when it goes into the filter, it's not thick. So that's the function of that. Now, if you see here, the machine stopped and said next cycle. That's when you put the next bag. We have both ready, so nothing to it. Just put another bag, and spike it, and then continue next cycle, and it will continue. As we said, it takes about 2 liters to finish priming the filter and priming everything. Here, and it's gonna go. It tells you there's 3 minutes left, right? So anyway, so this one here, back to it again. When we order the solutions here, remember, so that we said the pre-block pump, it goes here, and that's what goes into the filament. So if you imagine the filter from inside, it has hairs, and these hairs have lumens, small lumens inside, and that's where the blood and the pre-blood fluid goes in it, right? Outside the filaments, contained in that filter, but outside the filaments, basically the filaments are bathed in solution that comes from here, from the dialysate, the green. It's around. It's around it. It's just so it takes molecules and fluid out, and then it comes out from here. And then as it comes out from here, you see it goes here, right? What's meeting it here? Purple. It comes from the purple pump. It meets it here, and that's called replacement fluid or post-blood pump, meaning that after you dialyze and remove what you want to remove and add what and remove the fluid and electrolytes and everything, this will just make the blood the composition you want. Basically, adding everything that was supposed to be added and everything the composition you want. And as we said before, is that we make it easy for people. Instead of ordering 1,000 here, 500 here, and maybe 1,000 here to replace, and maybe this patient needs more replacement than X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. This is all trivial things. It's not worth confusing people. So what we do is that it's the same solution for every patient, and it's the same amount for every pump. And it works perfectly. We don't have any complaint about that, right? So how do you calculate it then? Remember when we said the solution from everywhere is 30 mLs per kilo per hour? Then it's easy. We have 3 of them. So 10 mLs per kilo per hour, 10 mLs per kilo per hour, 10 mLs per kilo per hour. So this patient, we put, I think we put 82 or 80, let's say 80 kilos. Then this one is going to be 800 cc's an hour. This one 800 cc's an hour. This one 800 cc's. Very simple. Now the nurse starts now with the initial. The first hour, is just you consider 0 and you continue. But I'm going to order the physician is going to order a removal. How much fluid do I need removed from the patient every hour? That's important. So then, what's going to happen? It's going to say here, patient intake minus the output for the hour. So the nurse, the first step is that she's going to say what went into the patient and what came out of the patient in the previous hour. And she's going to write it here. And then they say, what's the doctor removal? The doctor wants to remove what? 100 cc's, for example. So if the ins are more than the outs by 150, she's going to write 150 here, and she's going to write 100 cc's here. So the total is going to be 250. So she is going to remove 250. So she goes in every hour and changes what she is removing. That's important, right? The next one is actually tells you, the next column tells you what was actually removed. So you ordered to remove 250, but maybe there was a disconnection in the middle. Maybe the machine couldn't remove 250. Usually it's removed like 230, 240, something like that. You can write it here. The nurse writes it. And then it writes the total for the whole of and all of this, by the way, all of that column is available on the machine under the tab history. If you miss an hour or so. Next, it asks you about the access and return, filter, effluent, pressure drop, and TMP, all of these things. All of those numbers are basically the pressure of the access, which is the red. What's the pressure inside there? Pressure of the return, what's the pressure there? The filter, status. The effluent, what's the effluent dose? You know how we order 30 mLs per kilo per hour? It could be, in reality, 33 mLs per kilo per hour because the patient is losing weight. So it reminds you, okay, maybe you want to go down on your rates a little bit. These are the 2 most important things, pressure drop and TMP. And we'll show on the machine, but pressure drop and the TMP, pressure drop, ED, is basically the pressure drop from here, entering the filter, to coming from outside the filter. That's called the pressure drop, which means how much does the pressure drop from here to here? Like how much resistance that the filter has. And every patient and every blood and every condition is different. So in the beginning, after everything is settled, the nurse will write what here, right here with a Sharpie, right? What is the pressure drop for this patient to start? And that will constitute the baseline. And after the baseline, if the pressure drop goes up by 100 more than what it was, if it was 34 and went up to 134, the filter has to be changed. The other one is called TMP, transmembrane pressure, which is inside the filaments. The filaments themselves, across the filament, what's the pressure? And that also needs to be written here. Also, you'll see it on the machine from the beginning. And if it goes above 100, it needs to be changed. Now, both needs to be changed, right? But one of them is a good change, and one of them is a bad change. So if I'm changing the filter because of the pressure drop is now reached 100 more, that means I'm the filter clotted. So I'm not happy changing that filter. Clotted meaning that the axis is bad, you didn't put heparin, you know, something, or the flow is very low, something like this. The TMP, if you're clotting because of TMP, most of the time that's called the filter clogging, which is a good thing usually. It's removal of cytokines, and that's a good thing. That filter, you take it, throw it away, you'll be happy with it, right? And then you write because of the anticoagulation, we run anti-10A every 6 hours to measure measure the hematocrit every 6 hours, and then of course we air chamber level. That's important. This air chamber is supposed to be here, under that limb, under the lower part of that purple limb here. Why? Because that's the interface, the only place where there's an interface between air and blood. And if air is in contact with blood, there will be clotting. So what you do is that you want to make sure that this is always here, and so the fluid that is coming from the post-blood pump or the replacement pump is bathing the surface of that blood, so it's separating it from the air. And then a stroke volume. If the patient has a Litco monitor, an A-line, we run stroke volume to make sure that we're not taking too much, so we can stop at a certain point if we feel that we're taking too much. And of course, there's comments and stuff like that. Now, the machine now finished. The prime test had passed, right? Was passed. So next we're gonna do continue. And it tells you that, okay, patient lost or gained 400. So if there's 400 cc that was added to the system, or 400 cc that was lost to the system that the system cannot account for, the machine will shut down permanently, and you have to change it completely. So that's fine. We have to confirm it. There's nothing we can do about it. And then that's the test. These are the things that we decided to order, right? Remember we said blood. What was the number we said for the blood pump?
250.
Yeah, 250, excellent. Now the PBP, this pre-blood pump, the patient is about 82 kilos. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna write 820, right? Put your finger there, it's gonna rise slowly, and then gonna go fast. All right, next is going to be the Dialysate, 820 also. I think it's going to give us trouble because I think it's going to stop at 850 or 800. So I'm going to go back here and make this 850 also, just in case, so we're all the same. And then replacement is going to be also 850. All of them are at the same number. Okay, now the pre or post, you want this, the purple, to go pre or post, always post. We chose post, easy. The patient fluid remover, I always start with 50. So remove 50 per hour for a few hours, make sure the patient is established, everything is whatever. And then you can again start going crazy after that. So patient fluid removal, you go 50. Right? Now, all of these options we did already, they have clear or confirm all. We're gonna have to do confirm all. Now the syringe pump, we have this syringe, it's supposed to be heparin. We use saline for now until the heparin is ordered, so we can do it. And it usually runs at 1 mL per hour, which is 1,000 units per hour. If you're in another hospital, you gotta make sure that the heparin concentration that you're getting from pharmacy is 1,000 mL per hour, obviously, because heparin comes in all concentrations. we need only continuous rate. There's no bolus rate. We don't want bolus rate. We never do bolus rate. Continuous rate. And you press, and it's a 1 ml per hour. Nothing we can do as a bolus delivery, we don't want. Change syringe, no, we don't want. That's what they're gonna do probably when they change the syringe to heparin. And then confirm all. Now everything that we ordered is 250, 850, 850, 850, 50, and the effluent is 2600, and it calculates the effluent dose 31 mLs per kilo per hour because we put the weight 82, so it came out 31 mLs per kilo per hour. Perfect. Now we're gonna continue, and what's gonna tell you now, we're gonna start connecting the machine to the patient. So we're gonna move down to the patient's room, and we're gonna connect this to the patient. All right, so now we once you done with the machine outside the room, I like to prep the machine inside the room. We're in a COVID patient now room, so we have to prep outside the room. Take your time. This is never an emergency. Once you're ready, you disconnect it. You have only like 5 to 10 minutes or something to reconnect it, so don't linger too much. Come out with the machine and connect it in this room, and now it's connected to, and now we can take our time again to connect it to the patient. So always use the soft button. The first button, clamp all Y line and access and effluent and return lines. Now I don't know any of these names. I don't know what the effluent line, I don't know what the access line, I don't know none of that. But I know that the Y line, but I know from the colors. It says the yellow and the red, clamp them, and the blue clamp them. So that's it. Of course the yellow is the effluent and the red is the access and the blue is the return. But I just wanted to make sure. And when you clamp anything, it has to be at least 2 clamps. 1 clamp around each of the, so this is the connection point here. I clamped 1, I have to clamp another one here. If you don't find yourself clamping 2, at least, then there's a problem. The red, I clamped 1 here, and then I clamp another one here, and the red has a third one actually. I like to clamp anyway, it's right here. Okay, the blue is connected to the bag here, so I'm gonna clamp 1 here, and I'm going to clamp 1 here. So I clamped what they want. Now the next one, disconnect the access line from the Y line, and then connect it to the red lower lock on the catheter. So it says here, what is the access line? It's red. It's red. So disconnect the red from here and connect it to the catheter. The catheter is prepared. We didn't put heparin in it, but I want to make sure it's prepared. If you want to show, but without, 1 second. Can we have a pillow, or I mean, any towel or anything? Any towel or any? Yeah, that's fine. You just want to do it like this way. This is our axis here. So the red here, I'm going to open it. I'm going to make sure that it draws very well. And it aspirates. It's not drawing great, but I'm going to do the same for.
Hey, Joe.
You can answer later.
Yep.
Okay. After I grip both. Now the red here I'm going to disconnect as I'm being told by the machine. Disconnect and connect it to where the red is. You know, I just drew some blood. That's all. Just make sure that the line is not filled with air, for example. Open this. I open this clamp. I open that clamp, and I open the third clamp. So now all the clamps on the red are open. Now if I press this other button here, disconnect the return line from the collection bag and connect the blue lower lock. What is the return line? It's blue. So the blue is going to the connection bag right here. I'm going to disconnect it, and I'm going to connect it to the blue. Right there. Can we use Levofed?
I have it hanging.
You want a bag of Levofed?
No, it's hanging. We need to attach it to the debutamine.
Okay, where is it?
It's the big bag behind the pressure bag. So I'm getting you a pump right now.
Okay, here's the label for it.
Yep. Thank you. I'm out of place with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what is it? That's ICU Nursing 101.
Jim will complain. Okay.
All right.
Compatible with the debutamine.
Yes, it is.
All right, we will. We have started at
20.
20. All right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we can talk about once we connect this, and we're gonna see the patient is gonna start bringing the blood out here. You can see everything is being filled out. Typically, what we do is that we start at 50 removal, and then we connect, and then we go up slowly until we remove as much fluid as we can. All right. What else? The stroke volume is very helpful. When the patients have A-line, you know, I like those patients to have A-line most of the time, especially if they're on pressors. Then we can then measure the stroke volume, and before we have end organ damage, we can potentially catch it early, if you will. Obviously, he's dropping the blood pressure because we just changed him to APRV. I mean, more than he was dropping already. So now he is going to be on levofit. The blood pressure is going to be hopefully going up, and we're going to place an A-line on this patient at some point.
Oh, you are?
The other thing is some troubleshooting. When the machine says axis is so negative, that means
Sherry, here's your levofit.
that means that you are, if the axis is so negative, that means that the catheter is kinked or there's a clot or something like this quickly before the machine, because the machine just shuts down and nothing moves, right? So before it clots, you bring the machine to 100 liters per minute, 100 mLs per minute from the pump. Just bring it down so quickly, or even 50 mLs per hour, so at least there's some movement without the axis is so negative, and then work on the axis, and then go up again to 100, 150, and then 250 and stuff like that. That's I learned that the hard way. Do it quickly, because within 4 to 6 minutes, everything is gonna clot. That's if the axis is negative, right? So next, we disconnected and connected there. Disconnect the effluent line from the Y connector, and then connect to the free port of the collection bag. So I'm gonna disconnect here. It's yellow on the screen. So we're going to connect here, and then connect it to the free port of the effluent bag. That's the free port of the effluent bag, right here. And I'm going to unclamp and unclamp. And the next one, it says unclamp everything. Everything is unclamped. I unclamped everything. Also, everything is unclamped in the lines here. The next thing is we're going to continue. Right? It says, it reminds you of everything. Everything is connected. Make sure that this is connected where it is. Yeah, okay, here's the picture. Now start. That's the third moment of truth now. Now we're going to see how things are happening. If there's any issue, it's going to beep, and it's going to make our life miserable. Right? So now the blood is going to start to come out. You can follow the blood coming out. You can look here quickly to see if there's no bleeding, nothing is splashing all over the place. Everything looks like it's going, and this turns into a cranberry color and keeps on rising until it fills up. Now you can see here, that's the order that we wrote. And you can see here the axis, the filter, the effluent, and the return. These are the things that the nurse will record every hour. But more importantly, like we said before, that's the axis pressure, the filter pressure, the effluent, all of these. Anyway, the nurse, more important than anything is the TMP and the pressure drop. When you press TMP, you're going to see pressure drop of 22, TMP 59. But I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to write it until it's stable. You know, you're gonna see a curve being written here. That curve, once it's stable, then you write it because it changes so much. And this machine is not 100% yet until you see these diamonds are within a green range. So far, the machine is testing everything. It's not telling us, can't tell us anything yet. Looks like everything is connected, but at the same time, and that's the green, right? And the diamond's in the middle, so everything looks like it's okay. I'm gonna wait another minute or so, and then I'm gonna record the pressure drop and the TMP baseline right here. Okay? I can take the Sharpie. No, write directly on it. I don't see the curve yet, so I'll wait for the curve. See, the pressure drop was 40 something, now it dropped to 20, and now that's the curve. So 30 and 56. So pressure drop, 30, and TMP, 56, we said. Doesn't matter if you write the date. Some people write the date, I don't care the date. Everybody knows when we started this, and it doesn't matter where the date, because if it goes above 100 of any of those numbers, you're gonna change it anyway. 100 more than the baseline, you're gonna change it anyway, regardless of the date, right? What is it? Everything looks good now. The machine is running. Everything looks good, and now we can start the treatment. A couple of things. History. That's the history. It will tell you over 4 days or whatever, you know, or many days, what's going on with the patient, what's removed per hour, and what's the total. You can go back to status, right? If the thing that I was telling you about is that how do we deal with something that the pressure is negative, it's too negative, and it's beeping like crazy. Adjust. You adjust. You go here. You change the blood pump. Go down to 230. Go up to whatever. Confirm it again. You know, you go down to all the way to 50, like we said, and then go back up again. We can talk another time, another video about returning the blood back to the patient. That's a different story. All right, so that's that. I think we're done. Thank you very much.